Hello again, Glitch Reaper here, and this is something that I've been wanting to do for some time, getting to a very special mod review. This is Cavern, and yes, if you've seen Cave World 2, this is by the same modder. In fact, it's basically his rehashed version of his mod. The thing is, he renamed it, did a little tweaking, and has expanded it quite a bit, actually. I'm not sure if I'll get it all in one session. I may have to do a multi-parter. We'll see how lucky we get, because this mod has a lot of dimensions, and I mean, you can see the portals behind me. Other than that one that's kind of empty, which still corresponds to a dimension, each of those is working, and I will be going to a dimension and have to explain how each of these works. You may notice that they all are made of moss stone, and like other portals, they can share a border. So this could be pretty compact if you make a dimension hub. But let's go on to the basics of the mod, some of the things you'll be finding in those dimensions, and some of which I will be doing as I explore. We'll see if I have to change my settings in between or something, but yeah. I don't know if I... never mind, never mind that, I'll just get on with the show. Anyhow, as I was saying, there's many basics to this mod and things that you'll be going for. Now, each dimension has a special feature. Rather, they all have a special feature that's shared. You can actually regenerate them whenever you wish to, just by clicking on the portal, well, any of the portals actually, with an empty hand. As long as nobody's inside the dimension at the time, you can restructure the entire thing by regenerating it to start over. And what this means is you have an unlimited ability to mine inside them, because as you could expect from a mod named Cavern, they are all cave-themed. Pretty much, anyhow. There's a couple that might be a little wild. But there's various dynamics with the mod as to how things work. Now, there's one thing that's, it'll have all... lips again, sorry. Anyhow, it will have all overworld ores in it, so no matter what mods you have in, it will show up as ores. Now, I'm not 100% sure if that also works with crystal types that grow off walls. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on how they're registered exactly, but I have seen it work for those in the past, so I'd figure this version would also do the same, because it kind of recreates the underground sections of overworld terrain. Some with some very remarkable twists, and that's why there's so many, is each one has its own special theme. Now, they also all have special ores in them. Now, randomite ore you will find in all of the dimensions from Cavern. It should be known that in the last one that's having some technical difficulties this time, it's pretty much the only ore you get. Now, when I mean it's up for whatever, I mean it literally gives you random items whenever you break it, just random stuff. So have fun with that, like lots of fun with that. Now, a very rare thing it can give you is this Miner's Thought Orb. Those are very important. In addition to opening one of the dimensions, you can use it to create this ore compass. And as you can expect, there's something about this. It will point the way to ores. And it'll show you strength, kind of the special... okay, there it appears. But you'll see that the durability of it is based on a strength meter, and it can point you towards things. And you, instead of worrying about so much where it's pointing, you can go by the strength meter, and it tells you which areas are particularly ore-rich. You can use this within the dimension itself, and you can use it otherwise. It's a pretty cool item. You have an actual compass for ores. It's like, hey, rich is over here. Now, that is randomite and some of the things that goes with it. That I'll get to later. It's a special piece of equipment. But basically, you'll be needing that. So watch for that little item. In addition to that, one of those dimensions will require it. Now, another common ore in all except the last one, Enya, is aquamarine. You will need it for the aqua cavern. A lot. For one thing, this is what you'll be getting, an actual aquamarine, so it will be something that drops from the ore when you break it, kind of like when coal breaks, or or lapis lazuli breaks into more items, or redstone for that matter. You know, kind of like vanilla with those kind of blocks. The thing is, you can also store it in this storage block. It looks kind of like a sea lantern. You can see the concentric circles, except it's not animated. So the storage block is like that. Now, the thing about the tools that you can make out of it, and they are vanilla recipes, basically. Like, for example, this uses sticks and aquamarine. So when you go mining for them, it'll be pretty easy to get a hold of it. Now, you'll notice that there's no weapon-based tool, like there's no sword here. This is because their special property is, in fact, only based on mining. In addition to opening the aqua cavern dimension whenever you use an aquamarine, you will want these in it because they allow you to mine quickly underwater. This obviously goes very well with aqua affinity enchantments, and on top of that, there's very special skills that come with this mod, and I'll be discussing that too. So, as you go along, keep a lookout for aquamarine because it will help you in your underwater mining. Like if I were to go down here, I could mine very quickly. In fact, let me just do a quick shot like this. Okay, I'm just going to dive down and maul through some stone. So I'm going to drop myself like a brick in survival and see if I can find myself some stone underwater and see if I can quickly take it before I need to worry about anything. No stone there. Okay, diving along the surface. I know it's a little murky down here. Probably should have grabbed myself that potion in advance, like I was thinking. Yeah, that would have been good to remember. Okay, well, wait. I really need the shovel, actually, rather than this, so I'll go back to creative anyhow. Okay, never mind. I'll do this a little bit quickly here. So I need to change out one of these, and I need to go with these. And while I'm at it, let me see here. Potion of... Come on. Just a moment. Potion of night vision. Yeah, I need the extra long one. Thank you. Because I'll be going underwater. So, yeah, there's that. Okay, let's do this again. This time I'm going to be shoveling. Okay, watch how fast this goes underwater. I do not have aqua affinity on my helmet. I didn't pre-enchant anything. This is its speed normally underwater. In fact, I need to get back up before I start taking damage. Luckily, I'm pretty close to the surface. By the way, move diagonally to go up faster, actually. Kind of an old trick. And this will lead into some other stuff later anyhow. Whew. What the weird pause. I don't know if that's the cycle going up on me, or... Come on, button. Silly button. Okay. But yeah, so you can see that the shovel is fast. Really, really fast underwater. You could also see that it wasn't really particularly durable, but it wasn't really particularly not either. That's going to be a factor when it comes to magnite. Now, its ore is different. You have to actually smelt it to get the ingot. It's the only one that you actually have to smelt. And you can see a storage block here. Now, should be noted, all of these ores you can break with an iron pickaxe, or the equivalent. The thing about magnite, now check this out. Each of these tools is absurdly powerful, but also absurdly brittle. What I mean by that is they have very few uses. Their durability is terrible, but their stats are off the scale. Well, for the post-combat update, anyhow. Well, actually, just period, they're pretty good for how fast you can find it. This stuff is not uncommon. And look at these stats. They may not be the best ever, but for ones you can casually craft, this is ridiculous. The Magnite Sword, 15 attack damage. Even though it only has like 10 or so uses, that can nearly destroy the Ender Dragon by the time that it breaks. You put on Unbreaking 3 on that, you probably will destroy it in very few hits just with this sword. And that's not even taking into account sharpness. Or strength, for that matter. Now the pickaxe, in addition to being really fast at mining and having a very strong mining level, like this can basically, well, again, allow me to demonstrate in survival mode here. Okay, let's see just how strong it is, because I'm not 100% sure myself. I just know that, yeah, it's doing that. I just know it's very, very powerful. Like, it's got some pretty extreme damage. And it's got some pretty extreme speed. I mean, it's kind of like having gold and diamond combined. It's ridiculous. It's severely ridiculous. And this is how they're designed. They have very high stats, but very low durability, which is kind of a fair trade. What you want to do is you want to save this until... Wait, what happened? Did it auto-complete the wrong way? It auto-completed the wrong way. Ahem. As I was saying. There we go. Okay. But let's see just how powerful it is. Because again, it's very fast and has very good stats, period. That's what these kind of tools are based on. So first of all, wow, it made that block disappear. And it chewed through obsidian in less than 3 seconds. This is ridiculous. But again, take a look. It's already decently damaged. So, if I use the old F3H trick, ding, tooltip shown. Okay, then you can see it only has 8 durability out of 10. As I said, these things have very low durability, but they have fantastic stats, so they're good for doing something very important, and then that's it. So, I would totally suggest going ahead to wait and get the mending enchantment on them, if you can. Or at least having it on at least one of them, you know? I mean, have at least a special one in reserve that you have mending on, because... And preferably Unbreaking 3, because that is ridiculous how fast they go through their durability. It's just one of those things where you're going, okay, I got a few good shots, then it's gone. So, now, here's the one that basically I'm wearing. This is... sorry, hit the button too many times. Sometimes you just have machine gun fingers. Anyhow, this is Hexkite. It has good armor, it has good tools, and as you can imagine, also comes out as a gemstone, like most of them. As I said, that's the only one you have to smelt. It has a very white storage block. Well, everything about it is very white. It's basically a diamond level equivalent. It's... the tools are actually a little bit better, just by a little bit. Like, for example, this has 9 attack damage rather than 7. So they're just basically, each of these is a bit better than diamond overall with its stats. So it's something that, if you go to another dimension, you've earned the use of this. So it's kind of an alternate path. Get some Hexkite. Hexkite is very, very useful. Now, let me see if there is... You know, I'm going to check something else. Oh, I can't actually do that in creative. That's funny. I can't use the regular function. I pretty much have to use the JI. But as you can see, you can smelt these out to get them, or the uses include all of the tools basically and the armor, including a hoe. So if you need something that has a much higher durability hoe, there you go. Now, Manolite. This is special. Manolite produces these gems, and as you can see, there's its nice block form. But the thing is, it's kind of limited as to what you can make. You can make an axe, sword, and a bow. But note the notation I gave to this one as a reminder. Quick, deadly, and magical. They seem to have a bit of a magical effect, including the bow. Like, when I pull it, I get runic particles. And it makes a cool sound. I mean, seriously, this bow is magical. Does it add extra magic damage? I'm not 100% sure. But it looks really cool when it does it. So, there's the Manolite bow. But, remember how I said things were quick as well? And powerful? Well, check this out. As a tool, that attack speed is nearly as fast as a regular sword. The swords, well, oh wait, did I pick the I picked the ice. I got ahead of myself, sorry. I meant to get these two. Okay. Ahem. Sorry, I clicked the wrong thing. They look kind of similar. Although this one has an entirely different crafting recipe that you can kind of see a component of right there. So, sorry. But yeah, look at that. The attack speed is much better than a regular axe, and it deals 9 damage. The sword is fast. 3 attack speed, that is ridiculously quick. Like, this represents normal sword and attack speed, although ignore the stats and stuff because this is a different mod that I might just be experimenting with at this time. But 1.6 is normal for a sword. This one's 3, and it deals 6 attack damage, which isn't bad. I mean, that's not quite diamond level, but the speed makes it quick. I mean, you will be just slicing through your enemies with this weapon, and even with the axe. So, it also has great efficiency, and will chop wood like you. It's just ridiculous. So these things are quick and strong. Okay, now we're going to ice. Now, if you get ice in the normal world, this will still work. If you get various icy things in one of the special dimensions, even better. It gives you a nice winter wonderland included around here. Now, as you can see, I put various forms of ice here because, well, you'll be finding them in the dimension. You'll be finding normal ice. You'll be finding packed ice. You'll be finding slippery ice. And you'll find a special thing that I'll go over with those little bitty cracks you may have spotted around. Fissured ice. Now, the thing is that these you can actually craft in different ways, or obtain from the dimension, or of course normal Minecraft. You have, of course, regular ice, you have packed ice, you have slippery ice, which you can actually craft with either packed ice or normal ice and a bucket of water. Slippery ice is like regular ice, except even slipperier. And as you can tell, it's kind of like packed ice in that it's opaque, so it has different properties. Think of it like packed ice on steroids. In fact, let's do a quick little test run here. I will just see how fast I can run along both of these. So I will have slippery ice, and I will have and I will have normal packed ice. So for your slipperiness needs, let's test these out, because I haven't tested out the full. Okay, so that's me moving on packed ice. This is slippery. This is same movement, going a lot faster. So slippery ice is really good for when you want to launch yourself. So that is very handy. Now, fissured ice is special, and so are these other fissures. So right now, my effects have worn off, so this is perfect for this experiment. Now, I'll go back into survival for a moment here to show this off. Fissured products, whether it's the fissured stone or fissured ice, have a very unique special ability. Whenever you mine them, you get a random special effect. I just got absorption for a few seconds. So it's kind of random in more than one way. But either way, that was fissured ice. So let me hit that again and see what I get. I get resistance 2. Interesting. Now, this can also be bad effects, so it just chooses randomly between all of the effects registered in your game. So if you have mods that add special effects, they will in fact show up. So yeah, that could be really good or really bad. This basically also applies to Cave World 2. I believe that it was an additional effect from randomite ore originally, but I think now that Cavern has been out for a while and he's rehashed the mod, I think Kagari decided to split it between something that specifically gives you random effects and something that gives you random items. So he decided to go in a different direction after that. By the way, this is the equivalent of an iron pickaxe in terms of what it can mine, I believe. Well, it might be a bit better. I don't know. But either way, it's got good durability, so I'm just using it to mine stuff along the way. not connected with the mod, totally different, but either way. Back to the ice. Now, the thing about it is you will need these ice sticks, and the reason why, and again, this is made from normal ice and packed ice. If you have normal ice, you get 2. If you have packed ice, you get 8, and it's made basically like you turn planks into sticks, so same story. Now, the use of them goes to making those tools. You can make an ice sword, you can make ice pickaxes, ice axes, the shovel, the hoe, and of course the bow. This one is a very good set to have various icy things, and I can see combined with block armor to give you like one of the ice sets. You could have ice everything. You could become the king of ice between these two mods, between this and block armor. No, anyhow, as I was saying, the thing is, these they don't necessarily have the best stats, but I mean they're made of ice. But there's also something called Ice Charge. I'm still not entirely sure how that works, because I've struck things with them and they haven't frozen. I'm not sure if there's like a special effect I can do, like... Yeah, you can't right-click with this. At least I don't think so. No, you can't right-click with that. So, no special function that I can determine. I'm still wondering about what Ice Charge is. If I find out later, I will announce it. So that's an active investigation. Now, there's a few other things to go over, as I was saying about the fissured stone. Now, there's also a Crescia. Crescia you will find in the various dimensions, and it's very special. Note how this one's growing on stone. Those I have planted to look nice and farmy normally, but this one is growing on stone. That's because it doesn't need a particular landscape, and is perfectly growing in a cave. I mean, the whole mod is about caving, right? You had to figure this was going to happen. It was going to have some kind of food in the cave. Well, here we go. Now, I'd like to do this in survival just to make sure that I don't over-snip things. Aha. See, I just got myself some of the fruits. Now, I already had some in my inventory, so it's stacked. I was going to show it just showing up, but I forgot. Oops. But you went right to... Either way. Now, these aren't really... and you can break those for seeds, might add. They're not the most filling food, but something to get going underground, this comes in really handy. So, when you need it, you have some nourishment, and the form of a little fruit. So, yeah, this comes in. I'm gonna run around a bit to see if I can get my food level down. Okay, running around. Oh, there we go. I just wanted to have that last thing. Again, they're kind of like a cookie in terms of their nourishment level. So, not the best, but hey, I mean, it's there underground when you're caving to keep you sustained, so it's still good. Now, one of the things that I didn't show earlier in terms of what it does is this bow. You will only get this from fighting in the dimensions. So, know that this is a special prize. So, yeah. Now, one thing about this is it has multiple modes. You may or may not have seen very many bows modded into the game that do that, because it's actually kind of rare. I've only observed a few bows. Usually it's just about better stats or doing a special effect whenever they hit their target. But no, this one has multiple modes. And what you do to activate the modes is a little different. Now, usually you'd think that you'd sneak and use click, but you sneak and attack click for this. So basically sneak and left click for most. So, you can see it has different modes. Like, this is normal. This is rapid. You just hold and it just machine guns. Classic bow. I mean, that's from like back in the day. Snipe. I see a sheep. Will it survive? Dun 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 dun. Somehow, I don't think so. Aww. Okay, okay, so you still have to adjust even in snipe mode on occasion. Really? Wait, it has a zoom. Whoa, what? Just... Forge? What are you doing? Gotcha. There we go. If only I had a skeleton over there at that time, I would have possibly gotten sniper duel. This would be a very good thing to do it with, as long as it registers the bow. Not wasting the sheep. He went down. He will be honored. Or she, or rather Shay, as most mobs in Minecraft are. Again, a reminder. Okay. Oh, mode, torch. Now, I don't have any torches in my inventory, so I'm curious, will this work? Yep. It just does a ranged torch effect, which is actually pretty nice. I mean, ranged lighting effects are always very nice, actually. I mean, you can light things ahead of time, and that comes in really, really handy. And I already had one of those, so I don't need that. Okay, now it's about time to start getting into exploring the dimensions and how to open each one. The thing is, they all use a framework of moss stone. Kind of like the new dynamics of Minecraft. You can make them larger as long as the area inside is basically rectangular. So remember that, as long as the area inside is basically rectangular, it'll count up to a very, very large amount. And that larger one, I heard needed to be bigger for it to work, but that's not working. So that was an experiment that's still in progress, although I do have a way around it. But anyhow, as I was saying, you can make these progressively bigger. Now, notice that you can actually tell which cavern it has it if you use the F3. So you can remind yourself pretty quickly. Like that's cavern, that's caveland, that's the ice cavern, the aqua cavern, the ruins, and huge cavern, and that one I'll get to later if I can bypass it. Now, each one has its own thing to use. After you make the frame, again, moss stone, you just use an appropriate item to open it. Now, with the basic cavern, you use an emerald, and it is themed as one of the caviest caves you can imagine. So whenever I go into that, remember, it will be a very cavey cave. We have Caveland. This is like an underground forest / garden dimension. It's very green despite being underground. There's a lot having to do with it under there. So it's for basically if you want to have an overworld-like experience simultaneously underground in a way, so you can like get more materials and kind of do more sustained living. Although again, remember all these can be regenerated if nobody's inside. So yeah. I wouldn't suggest fully building there, but it would be a good spot to get extra wood of certain types. There's the... and for that, again, use a sapling. Just click on it with a sapling once you have it, and there you go. So, click on the inside, like a regular portal. The ice cavern, you use packed ice to get there. It is frosty in there. This is a winter wonderland, and the big reason for all these ice tools. So it is really chilly in the ice cavern, so prepare to slip and slide. The aqua cavern. Because if you're going progressively through the dimensions, this will probably actually be your second, rather than along these ways. Although, if you're using overworld materials, and that you just happen to have, you'll probably have these three open already. And one later on that actually uses a diamond. But this one is the first one that you absolutely need to have another dimension to open, specifically what's normally considered the first. Although I do believe the others also have aquamarine in them. So basically you go to one of the dimensions and then you can open this one. This is the aqua cavern. It is flooded. So use an aquamarine, as I've said previously, to feel like Mr. Zusto, who is always about under the sea adventure. Yeah, there used to be a guy who did that. And he was in fact French. So, yes. Very watery. You will probably need to have, again, aquamarine tools and a lot of experience before you go there. And I mean actual experience, like when you mine in this mod, you get experience that's special. Like you get upgraded perks for mining enough. But only if you mine inside its dimensions. Preferably the primary one, the cavern. But we'll get into that later. Now, I'll skip over this one temporarily, because, as I said before, this one is something that uses another overworld material. This one uses a diamond. It's the huge cavern. It's kind of an extra cavey cave, like the main cavern, but it's very open when you get inside. Like, huge areas to see around, so you'll probably have a bit more conflict with enemies, and if you have mods that add in larger enemies, they will have space to move around in there, so that's something to be very wary of. And then we come across the two special ones. We have the ruins. Otherwise, it's not just the ruins cavern, this is basically the ruins. But you have to trade in one of those very rare miner's thought orbs. And so this one's very special and difficult to get into because that's a pretty rare chance. So you'll be mining a lot of randomite ore before you get in here. So be prepared to be loaded with stuff. Now, in the ruins, it's very different from the others. This one is kind of like an eternal stronghold. It's a maze-like dungeon dimension. It's loaded with loot chests all over the place. So it's very different. You go in here, so you trade in one of those miner's thought orbs, and you get lots of loot. An additional thing I should mention about the miner's thought orb is that as long as you have it in your possession, you also get bonus mining points and stuff. So it's also one of the things where you have to preferably have an extra. Otherwise, you might not want to go for it. It depends on if you want to build your level first or just go for another dimension. And of course, there's also the fact that you have the ore compass, so that thing has some good uses. So trading it in for this is a bit of a really good decision. I mean, you have to have been insanely lucky before you're really wanting to go for it, in all likelihood. Now, then there's Enya. You've probably seen, hopefully by this time, my mob battle with the crazy Kavenic skeleton included, and its tremendous Gatling style. Again, lips, been a while. But for this, you need something called a Kavenic orb, and it will drop off of the mobs in this mod. It's supposed to open this dimension, but this one seems to not be in service. When you get to Enya, an additional skill set opens up. Now, there's a third one I'll go into later, but Enya is supposed to be the place where you also get a hunting rank, and you get bonuses based on your hunting skill. This is basically just about hunting down mobs, including bosses. Like, this is the land of bosses, not just the crazy skeleton, which is making a return, although he has like 1/5 the health he used to, so I guess that's a bit of a trade for the post-combat update. Just noticed I still need to toss those away. Move a few things out. Anyhow. But he's still ridiculous. He has 2,000 HP and will rock your world. So he still is kind of ridiculous like he used to be. And there are other crazy bosses too. It's not just him. There's a crazy zombie, a crazy spider, and a crazy creeper to go along with him. So, yeah. This is a dimension where you are hunting and being hunted constantly. It is ridiculous. Now, another thing that I will do is I will start actually going into the dimensions now to show them off. If I have trouble, I will shut off the recording, restart it after I adjust my memory, because it might be that. Because 1.12 is mostly running very low in memory usage, but you never know. So far it's been running pretty well with, look at this. It's running pretty well off just a few gigs. This has actually been pretty smooth. So, since they've made good improvements to performance in general, I can see why. But, well, here we go.